All right, we're live and we've got to see if anybody is actually on our stream. Looks like looks like we might have a couple. I never know if it counts me, but if you're on the stream, please write in the chat right now whether you can see the video and hear the audio. If you're having any problems with video or audio, of course, if you're not hearing this, okay, I better write that in the chat. So the usual, can you see, can you hear? Let me know. All right. And are you trying to sign in?
No, actually, Marilyn sent a message saying she ran into bad traffic and she gave up.
Okay.
Must be a bad accident.
Really slow.
All right. Well, yeah, I had a lot of fun recently with lots of driving around everywhere. And everywhere seemed to be farther than it ought to be. Right? Yeah, like if it normally takes an hour, guess what? It's going to take an hour and a half or 4 hour 40 or 2. But yeah, it's a nice
time to be.
So it's a nice time of year to be in this part of the world as well. Yes. All right. Well, welcome everybody, whether you're online or here. And this is our October meeting, which kicks off the first meeting of our season, October through May, for the Potomac Valley Scottish Fiddle Club. And as is traditional for our October meeting, the theme of the workshop is tunes that everyone should know. So it is a bit of a mix, right? It's not just tunes that are super popular and that are great for playing at jam sessions, although it always includes some of those. And it also, the thing is, everyone should know. So sometimes people don't know them already, but they should because these are really good tunes. So it is true that some of the ones that we've presented over the years have become popular session tunes all over, in part because they are played here and then people play them elsewhere and they spread. So we've managed to start trends here, right here at the October meeting. So you can be in the place where it happens. All right. So I usually do have a mix of stuff. And so here's my question. Do you want to start easy? Or do you want me to present something that's, a faster tune? I have 4 choices today for teaching you by ear.
You're talking about Gordon Duncan.
I won't teach that one by ear.
You'll teach by ear.
No, the Gordon Duncan tune with 3 parts and 12 lines that takes up an entire page. No, I'm not teaching that one by ear. However, as usual, we go over everything. So if you are somebody who preferentially learns by ear rather than from sheet music, you're in luck because we play everything by ear that we're going to learn. We have visual assist as well. So if you're somebody who prefers to learn off the page, you will get sheet music for everything. You have access to sheet music for everything. But we usually start with learning by ear so that we can not only develop that skill, but also make sure that everybody's got the idea of the style, which is pretty important. Okay, so push back just a little bit. I can't push back very much because there's bricks there. Hi, come on in. All right. So I have a slow air, I have a march, I have a reel, and I have a jig, and they're all great tunes to learn by ear. So
March.
The march. You want to learn the march? That's the longest one.
Oh.
Sorry, guys.
No,
sorry.
They're all good. They're all good. And I mean, we could. Why don't we learn that one second, though?
Okay.
All right. So now I'm going to give you a narrow it down to, you can either learn the jig or the air first. The air. Okay. So here's the air. It is a song tune, and I learned it many, many years ago. Quite a few of our song tunes come from the singing of Jean Morrill, who sings both in English and in Gaelic. This is a Scots song. It's called "My Ain Country." So it's a tune about whatever represents your home to you, and that longing for home. And actually, it's just a very Scottish thing, because one of the things Scotland has done is sent out its people across the world to very many places. Scots have immigrated all over. It's one of the reasons why we have a Scottish Fiddle Club here in the U.S. And so I think on this theme just somehow is appropriate for us being one of these organizations that exists because Scots did get out and go travel the world. So, but they never stopped longing for home. And so looking back to Scotland, here's the tune. All right, so that's the tune, My Ain Country. I presented it in the key of G because that was Jean's favorite key for singing. But like a lot of song tunes, the key could vary with the singer. So if you ever see it printed somewhere else in a different key, well, that's perfectly legal.
You've got it in D, though.
What's that?
You've got it in D.
Yes, I have it in D
Okay.
because that's the key that my source sang it in.
If
Usually.
you're accompanying it on guitar, you just put the capo to different.
That's right. Doug would just put his capo on. Yeah.
Totally
Mhm.
painless.
Okay. Well, find a chair, or if you need to set up a folding chair, you can. But we still got quite a few real chairs here, and of course the piano is available. So this one thing that I will say about playing a song tune, a song air, is that you have to remember to let the singer breathe. So that should help you with phrasing, is just thinking about breathing yourself, whether or not you're playing an instrument that requires you to breathe to play it. If you're not playing a wind instrument, you can get away with breathing whenever. But I advise you, no matter what instrument you're playing, to breathe with the phrasing. Okay, our pickup note is a low A. And then we hit that D, the key that it's in. So let me go over that and give you the full phrase. It's scale work. We hit that D note. And then back to the A. But up here, we're just going up and then down the scale by one note. And then you breathe right there. Do I have? Yes, I have rosin somewhere.
In my pocket.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right.
Oh, did you find some?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anybody have any issues with that phrase or anything you want me to clarify? And as with any of these tunes, I'll give you a chance to play some more, but as with any of these tunes, there are some notes that are more important than the others. So no matter what happens, start off with that low A, hit the D, and then another phrase on back on the A. So if you get that, you've got the shape of the phrase, and then you can add the details. And that I'm saying this now on this very slow tune where you probably can catch these details, just as a method for how to learn by ear, which is that get your most important points and then fill in the details. You know, get the basic structure and then fill it in. And that's true whether the tune is slow, fast, medium tempo, anything, no matter how complicated. You try to find the most important notes, hang your hat on them, and then fill in the details. Okay, let's take that phrase again. Do you want me to play it first? I'll do it. Pretty good. Let's do our next phrase. Same pickup note, and then goes to D. All it does is do that little scale. So pickup note of A, listen first. And then a quick change from E to F sharp. You hold that, and then you hold it again longer. And that's the entire second phrase. How's that working so far? Pretty straightforward phrase. Third phrase. Did everybody remember to breathe? Okay, so you can add the breathing in, right? The singer might be breathing at the end of every one of those 4-bar phrases. Depends how loud you're singing, how are you trying to project it? But that's a long time to hold a note. So the singer needs to breathe. Okay, now we are breaking from tradition because our pickup note for the next phrase is not the low A. We were on the F sharp and we're holding it way out, right? That's our next little bit. The pickup notes are G and F sharp, and then we land on the E note. Okay, that is not as long as we are only partway through the phrase now. That's the whole phrase. Let me break it down. So we had which we just learned. That's the next bit. And here's how we finish off that phrase. We've been hanging on E. Okay, so far so good there. I'm going to make sure that this video can actually see yes, now it can see my fingers, but now it sees some of the garbage. All right, we'll have to Get it just right so that my house doesn't look as messy as it is. It's actually just fencing gear, which gets stored here. Here in the family room, yes. Okay, so our third phrase. We're almost there. We're almost halfway through. Hi, come on in. We still have some real chairs or folding chairs. All right.
There's one right here.
Okay, so we're now on the fourth phrase. Does anybody need any other bits from what we've done? Okay, the fourth phrase, being the wrap up of the first part of the song, has extended pickup notes because this is where the title of the song comes in. You know how that usually happens? It's either right at the beginning of the song or it's the end of the phrase. So it's in my own country.
Oh, excuse me.
So that I told you the name of the tune is my own country, right? So two long pickup notes. Okay, so any questions so far? My pocket is vibrating, so let's see if it's relevant. No, not. All right, so let's put together the four phrases. We've got half of the song. How did it start?
A.
A pickup note, and then what did we do?
D.
D. Yes. Okay, you guys are brilliant. Let's do it. Do you want to hear it first?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll put all four phrases together. Up by scale, and then back to the A. Hang out on F sharp. The E. Extended pickups. Let's all try it. Okay, how's that working? Any further questions? All right, we need the second half because this song has verse and chorus. And I'm not very good with words. So I should have, as usual, I should have looked up the words to this song. I've heard Jean sing it, but it was a long time ago. And so I don't remember what words go, except for that end of the phrase. In my, I picked up that much.
That's as part as the chorus.
Pete's not here, so.
Well, it has the end of it is the title. I think the first half is actually the verse. So the B part, we have an A pickup note, but it's now higher. It's this A. Yeah. But we still end on A. So here's how it goes. A pickup note, let's find that A. Okay, everybody's got it? And then we're hitting the B note, then a G note, and then a D, and an A. Just that much so far. Let me end the phrase by just adding. So little. This is the slower song version of the snap rhythm, the da-dum, which is present in all Scott's speech, but it's much relaxed in this tempo. So that's just what we're adding to the end of the phrase. Go ahead and find that. Okay, putting it in context. Don't forget to breathe. Okay, are you ready for the next phrase? So once again, we're hitting that low A. We were just on the high A, or the middle A, right? So we hit that low A. And land on the low A for a long note. All right. How are we now? I have good news. The rest of the song you have heard before. So we just had new stuff for this B section, but the rest of it is. In my country. So let's do that last 8-bar phrase. again. So let's add the new material from the beginning of the B part. Where did it start?
A.
Yes. And then the next thing is a low dive. And then we add the final 8 bars. So let's put it all together. Let's do it again. Any issues or questions with this second half? Shall we do the whole thing?
Sure.
Yes.
Let's do it up to tempo. Oh, wait, we already were. See, this is the great thing about these song tunes is that you can actually learn them at the actual pace that they're supposed to be played. Now, this song tune, you could play it to accompany a singer. You could just play it as a slow air. You could use it to be a waltz at a dance. It works in all of those situations. So let's go ahead from the beginning. How did it start?
A.
Low A, then what?
D.
Yes. All right. Now I'm starting to add some ornaments in just because I can't keep them out for long. So you might actually try singing this yourself You could look up the words and sing the real words, or you could just, make something up or just do la 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 or whatever you feel like. But think of the kinds of ornaments that a Scottish singer might actually put in. So instead of doing sort of like bagpipey ornaments or things like that, it's more appropriate to do the kinds that are like, because a singer could do da ya da da pretty easily, but they can't do the or something like that. They're not going to do that. The singer's not going to do that, and they're not going to be doing those kind of those are not vocal ornaments. So that's what I mean when I'm saying, think of what a singer might do. That gives you vocal style ornaments. So these little things that roll. It's just from the note below. I might do that vocally as well. So I'm doing ornaments that are like coming from below, coming from above, or sometimes rolling at several in. That kind of thing. All right, let's play it again. Give you a chance to try out some ornaments if you feel like it. If you're still focusing on getting the melody, no problem. Just, again, there are certain notes that are more important than others. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right, so that is My Ain Country traditional song. So I don't know when it was first sung.
The words in Scottish count?
No, they're in English.
Oh.
Scots English.
So I tried to look it up.
Did you find any words?
I did find words. A sad late Jacobite song of exile.
A Song of Exile.
It says
You know,
written
isn't
by
that-
Alan Cunningham. Neighbor. His father was a neighbor of Robert Burns.
Okay, so it makes it pretty old.
Yeah.
That takes it back to the 1700s.
The sun rises bright in France, and fair sets he, but he has lost the look he had in my ain country.
Oh,
Though
Yeah.
gladness comes to many, a sorrow comes to me as I look o'er the ocean wide to my ain country. And there's
Yeah.
two more verses.
yeah. Okay, so I wasn't really out of line when I said the Scots have traveled far and wide and they're still thinking of home. So now we could do that march, or we could do this jig.
Now that we know the march is long, jig.
Oh, Becky's changed her vote. Okay. All right. So I'm glad you picked the jig. And there's a reason why. This jig is in the key of A, and it exercises two great compositional building blocks very thoroughly. One of the things, and when I say compositional building blocks, when you compose a tune or piece of music, some of the most useful bits that you can use to create a melody are the scale. Can anyone guess what number 2 is? The arpeggio. Right. So this one's in the key of A. So let's start out by just playing ourselves a nice A scale. We'll start on this A. That's pretty good. Let's pretend it's a jig and play it in jig time. Okay. That's not how it happens in the tune. However, let's move on to arpeggio. Now, does arpeggio have meaning to everybody here? I can explain it because it's always useful to reacquaint yourself with the arpeggio. Even if you know it really well, it's good to know it back and forward in your sleep. So the arpeggio is always built in any key by playing the first note of the scale in that key. So we're in the key of A, the first note is A. The next note of the arpeggio is always the third note of the scale. This note, C sharp. And the next note in the arpeggio is always the fifth note of the scale. E in this key. And then of course you want to have the next A. And then you can, it's the usual lather, rinse, repeat. So once you find an A, you can play A, C sharp, E, and then you can find the next A and play A, C sharp, E, and you can keep going as far as it's convenient to go on your instrument. So these notes, we need these notes because a big part of this tune is built out of this arpeggio. So let's find them now. A, C sharp, and let's go back down. So being able to go up and down by arpeggio is really useful skill. Okay, so now I have a jig time arpeggio exercise. And it's to start at the top of the arpeggio this time. With that dum ba with this jig rhythm. Let's do it again. Now, the rhythm here is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? It's divided into triplets, right? Every one of these basic beats is divided into 3. But when we do this part of our arpeggio exercise, we're taking the first 2/3 of that beat and then a 1/3, 2/3, 1/3. On this instrument, it's really graphically illustrated that you have a long note and a short note. It's also really illustrated on this instrument, but you do this on every instrument, no matter what you're playing a Scottish jig on. If you have this long, short rhythm going on, the upbeat always gets a little push. On the violin, it's absolutely necessary because if you played them equally, you would run out of bow. Whoops. So you have to... You hear how that transforms it? It's no longer just a collection of arpeggio notes. It's now rhythmic, and it is part of a tune. So play that with it, that little push on the short note. Okay, that's pretty awesome. All right, now we need the arpeggio also going the other way. So I'm going to give you a different jig rhythm for going up the arpeggio. So I'm playing a triplet rhythm there that is dotted. It's uneven. It's not evenly divided. That would be somebody else's style of jig. For your typical Scottish jig, it's played dotted. So with that lilt in it, that is just so typically Scottish that we don't even notate the jigs that way. Except occasionally, sometimes there will be a little reminder. Oh yeah, remember Scottish jigs are dotted, and they'll put dotting in for like one bar. But it's something that goes without saying. Scottish jigs are dotted. So unless you're playing a different style, just always put a little more on that first note of the three. The second one's shorter. The third one is still spot on where that upbeat would be in jig time. So now let's combine our two rhythms. Down the arpeggio and then back up the arpeggio. Okay. Now remember we did scales at the beginning? These arpeggio exercises that we've just done are actually the first two bars of the tune. So we've now learned two bars. The next two bars are scales. So let's start at the top of the A scale. And then we go to the B note and come up. And then go down the scale. So there's nothing in those two bars that is not directly a scale, either up or down. So let's do the scale part again. Okay, how did we start this tune? Arpeggio. Yeah, so let's combine it. Arpeggio and then scale. Ready, go, and... All right. Again, same thing. Ready, go, and... Terrific. Any questions on what we have so far? Our arpeggio exercise and our scale exercise. The next bit of music is the same arpeggio exercise. Again, no difference. So we know it. Shall we play 6 bars?
Yeah.
Okay, ready, go, and... Okay, so you have a correct guess that scales are coming next, but it has to be slightly different from what we did before so that we can wrap it up. Because the first time, it's kind of leaving you a little bit hanging, right? So new ending. It's not a direct scale. Oh my gosh, it skips a note. Let's add it to the whole scale. So I hear a lot of people wanting to do the first option, which is all direct scales. And I grant you, that's a lot easier. It's the path of least resistance. But the second time we have to do something fancy. So we play the scale. And then we jump to the E note from the C sharp. We skip, we jump over a note, and we go to the E. And now we're going to come down, and we have 4 notes to get to the bottom, but we have 5 notes in the scale. So we have to leave one of them out, and the one we're leaving out is C sharp. Just find that again. Now let's practice getting there from the previous scale. We have freeze right there. Find what's next. It's an E note. Do it again. All right, how's that? Yeah? All right, let's see if we can put this whole thing together. There's one thing that I didn't mention, and I usually start with this. Pickup note. This is a tune where it really you could make up any pickup note, but you end the phrase here, and you're going to start it here. Can you think of a good note in between?
E.
Sure, that's a great choice. Yeah, it works. It works at both ends. So yeah, I like that E. Shall we go with it? Okay. But my point here is that you don't absolutely have to use that E. Like that E is there for convenience. It's not there because it's essential. You could do a G sharp and nobody would say that's not the right note. You know, the pickup note is just not as important. So I'm really not kidding when I say think of a good note between low A and high A, and that's your pickup note. But let's use E. It's what I wrote in the sheet music, but it's not the most important note in this tune. Okay, remember arpeggios, down, then up, scales going down, going up, going down. The same arpeggio thing, down, then up. The same scale thing with the scale with the hole at the end. Here we go. sounding pretty good. Does anybody have any spots that they want me to go over in more detail? So far, so good? All right. Let's learn the next bit. We need something new. You know, we've done scales, we've done arpeggios. So now we're going to do this thing called the sequence, which is one of the other things that is a construction of a melody. How do you make a tune? Well, we've used the scales, we've used the arpeggios. The sequence is where you make a little pattern and you play it, and then you knock it up or knock it down by 1 degree of the scale or sometimes more, and play it again. So let me demonstrate how this works. So our next melody thing, we're in the B part, we need a new thing, right? And the new thing is this. It's still pretty much based on the arpeggio, except they're little scale doodles. It's basically scale decorations built into the melody. Okay, so I said the classic sequence is where you take the same little lick and bump it up a notch on the scale. So can anyone guess what's coming next?
D.
D. Yes. And then what? Yeah, F sharp, right. Now, if you were predicting it, you would probably predict that it goes. It doesn't. Somebody got this clever idea and said, okay, we're doing this sequence thing, but we're putting a little twist on it. Yeah, it's cute, right? It's not that different from what we did before. It still kind of qualifies as a sequence. It's just not exact, right? But the idea is there that we do this. And then we bump it up a notch, put a twist on it. So let's learn this second phrase, starting on D to F sharp, up the scale. Is that good? Any questions? All right, let's put the two bits together. So we start with the C sharp one. Let's do it again. Okay. All right. So those 4 bars are the first half of the B part. Can anybody want to guess what's coming next? Same thing. Yes, we repeat. So let's do 6 bars of the B part. Here we go. Ready, go. end this tune?
Let's end it the way the A part ended.
Wow, that's a brilliant idea. Yes, it ends exactly the same way the other part ended. Yes. So how did that other part end? Scale, right? And then the scale with the hole. So we just add that on the end. So let's do it. Let's do the whole 8-bar phrase of the B part. Ready? C sharp. Okay, so we have the whole 8-bar phrase. We're going to be repeating it. We end that phrase and we start that phrase. So we need a good pickup note between A and C sharp. Can anybody think of one?
Oh, you mean like a B?
A B, yeah, okay. And so in this case, there's really only one answer because anything else is out of the way. The only note that's convenient between A and C sharp is the one in the middle. So the pickup note is necessarily B. And when we repeat, that B will be very convenient. Okay, so let's play the whole thing with B pickup notes as needed. 1, 2. Let's do it again. Okay, well, we should maybe try the whole tune. And I realize I probably didn't introduce this tune by name. Did I tell you what it's
You
called?
did not.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this tune has actually been in Fiddle Club before, but it was never in the tunes that everyone should know section. And it's been a long time. This one has only been in book 5. We're now at book 33. Ooh.
It's been promoted.
Yeah. So this tune, and I haven't heard it played at a lot of our jams, which is why I said, okay, this is one that needs to go into the more commonly played repertoire. The name of the tune is The Steamboat, and so that actually immediately tells us about how old this tune is, just from the name. Because why would you name a tune after something that hasn't been invented yet? Okay, so it's not older than when steamboats were invented. And why would you name a tune after something that's everybody sees every day, all the time? Boring. Right, so this is not from the age when steamboats were everywhere. So, anybody know when steamboats were invented, approximately?
1805.
You're really close. Okay, so like the famous,
You sounded so.
the,
I thought I was right.
so the famous steamboat trip in North America, Robert Fulton,
Uh-huh.
was in 1807 from New York to Albany up the Hudson River. And that one was like big news and everybody was all excited. Steamboats actually existed before then, but they were uncommon. But by the 1800s and into the 18 teens, suddenly you started seeing them everywhere. So this is probably from those days. I did a little bit of research on that, and one source said that steamboats had been used occasionally here and there, sort of experimentally, in the late 1780s. There's the first manuscript source for this tune is a book that was kept by a woman who kept the book. She wrote in the book from like late 1790s to the early 1820s. It wasn't printed in a printed source until later, like 1840s.
Yeah.
But by that time, obviously it was already circulating. People already knew it. So therefore, this tune, I conclude, is from the early days when steamboats were really cool. So 1800s, 18 teens latest. And we know that just from the name. So there's also a steamboat hornpipe.
Even all of the Irish sessions.
But this version, the jig or quick step, because you could make it as a quick march. We're using it as a jig. This version is also well known, and my source for it was transcribing it from an accordion band from Scotland. And I was at a Scottish dance. I heard this tune being played, and after the dance class was over, I made them play it again so that I could write it down. So I don't even know which band I was listening to, other than it was a Scottish band with accordions in it. Well, there are a lot of those. So it doesn't narrow it down very much. So I have just sourced it, transcribed from a recording. And, in those days when I was, how old was I? Probably 20. I wasn't quite as methodical about, writing down my sources. So if I learned a tune before I was all that methodical, sometimes I don't have a source other than Elke learned it by ear somewhere. But this one, I've already told you the story. So so the steamboat quickstep, let's play the whole thing. I think we just decided we'd pick that E as the pickup because it was between low A and high A. And how does the tune start? Arpeggio exercise, going down, going up, and then scale, going down, then repeat with the special ending. B part is the sequence. And then a bunch of repeated stuff. I think we can handle this. Let's give it a go. The steamboat quick step from the 1800s or 18 teens. Traditional tune learned by Elke from an accordion band recording from Scotland. ornaments. Unlike our vocal song, we don't have to stick to just vocal ornaments here. So I'm using a lot of things like I use that one a lot in this tune. So I'm using a little more percussive style ornamentation here. That's not a vocal ornament. That's sort of a piping style ornament. And what it helps do is kind of give a little bit of percussive feel to this tune. Because one thing about Scottish style jigs that distinguishes it from jigs played in other styles, such as New England style or Irish style or an English style jig or a Cape Breton style jig, although Cape Breton's more closely related, the Scottish style jigs are not flowy so much as they are percussive. They're bouncy. All right. So we already got a little bit of that with the way I said to emphasize the. Sorry. So that's already bouncy, 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 right? So the ornaments add to that. It's very different from your sort of. Yeah, there's your Irish jig, right? That's flowing. This is bouncy. All right, so let's play it one more time. You can put ornaments in, make it as bouncy as you like. We'll try to crank the speed just a little bit more. So we'll start moderately, but get faster. You want to just the whole thing. Okay, it makes a great dancing tune. It's also just fun to play at jam sessions. All right, so that is the steamboat quick step to differentiate it from the steamboat hornpipe, both of which are just frequently just called the steamboat. So you do have to be a little specific. All right, are you up for another one by ear? And you can either have a short reel or a longer march. I have no guarantees as to which is the harder one to learn by ear. Would you like to hear sample the goods? You want to hear it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the march is Old Faithful by Jerry Holland. The reel is Miss Rattray, a traditional tune. Okay. They're both really good tunes. And they both get played fairly often. And okay, anybody object to learning the reel?
No, real good.
Okay, Miss Rattray is its name. Ratray, like rat on a tray. No, don't think of that. Yeah, don't think of that, she says, having planted the image firmly in your mind. Right. It's in the key of D. Yay. The people's key, as they say. That I heard it called that one time. I don't know, but it is accessible on fiddles. I don't know about every other instrument. In fact, it's not probably B flat is the people's key for brass instruments. So, you know, but and for singing, F for singing. Yeah, people open their mouth and they sing in flat keys. Did you know that? If they just do it, if they just do it naturally, you've experienced this, right, Doug? Yes. Like they open up their mouth and they don't sing in D. No, they go for D flat. Okay.
If you're trying to accompany them.
Yeah. If you're trying to accompany them, it's keys like D flat, A flat, E flat. Yeah.
Then you get in a battle of wills.
Yeah, you try to bump them up half a step or something like, or down. Yeah. Okay, so Miss Rattray, fancy pickup notes because it has. Woo, we get to run right up the scale because the first melody note is D. All right, here's what happens in the melody. How is that little bit? Pretty good? Okay. The transitional note, we just. Next little bit. put our little bits together because we had our opening, right? That much. Again. Now, it's kind of deliberate how I'm teaching it, because instead of going with the page where these things are blocked in groups of 4, you notice how I'm crossing the beat a lot with our little phrases that I'm teaching? That's because that's how the tune actually works. It's always da 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 dum, da 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 dum. It's always anticipating the beat melodically. So that's important to know, because otherwise you just get this etude. That's not interesting. That's interesting. You hear how it's the same collection of notes, but how I group them is important. All right, so we learned. Let's go ahead and play our phrase that we've learned, and then carry on from there. One more time on that. The next bit starts the same, except the pickup note is not fancy. It's just an A. And we're almost to the end of the first half. Boy, that was fast. Here's the end of the first half. We jump from down here to up here. Wow, that's a big jump. That's from a D down here to a high G. So find that G note. Okay, now this has a Mickey Mouse ending, and that is a dated reminder. Because if you're not of a certain age, Mickey Mouse Club, even in its first, second, or third iteration, I mean, this worked for generations, because there was a 1950s Mickey Mouse Club, and there was a 1970s Mickey Mouse Club, and then there was a 90s Mickey Mouse Club.
That's why I missed it. I was in the
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah. So anyway, it worked for a long, long time with a large age range of people, but it's now been off the air for like 30 years. And so there's whole generations now that have grown up with no Mickey Mouse Club. But my point is, the Mickey Mouse Club had a theme song, and they would spell out Mickey Mouse at the end. M-M-O-U-S-E. And so the Mickey Mouse ending is M-O-U-S-E. So I used to be able to just say, and then you do the Mickey Mouse ending, and everybody would say M-O-U-S-E, and then they'd play it. But now I have to go through this whole explanation to make that happen. But it's basically, I told you that we had that big jump. So that's the pickup. And then we have M-O-U-S-E. Right. And like you were saying, for the 60s or the 80s, you're out of luck anyway, right? Unless you saw reruns. So let's try to put the phrase together. It's a 4-bar phrase. So this is one of those reels where 4 bars repeated gives you an 8-bar phrase for the beginning. The second phrase is 8 bars. The whole thing is only 16 bars long. This already stamps it as either an older reel or an older style reel, because in the 20th century, people started writing 32-bar tunes, which were uncommon in the 1700s and 1800s in Scottish music. And the reason for that is the dance forms that they accompanied. So let's get back to this tune. We want to put together our entire A part, 4 bars of music. How does it start? Yeah, fancy pickup note. Mickey Mouse. How's that working? Yeah, it's sounding pretty good. If you don't have all the bits, again, figure out what notes are the most important, find them, and that way, even when it starts going faster, you're still keeping pace with the tune. That's more important than getting all of the details. And I tell this story often enough, but I'll give an abbreviated version. I was once playing at a dance and my instrument went completely out of tune and I had to start just switch tunes entirely in the middle. And I switched tunes without even knowing what I was playing. So I just played rhythmic stuff that was phrased correctly. And they didn't fall over or stop dancing. So that's the moral of the story, is that if you miss some of these notes, nobody's going to have a serious problem. They will be able to listen, enjoy, dance, whatever, as long as you can get the general shape of the tune accurately. So the general shape and good rhythm and phrasing, more important than all the details of the notes. You can fill those in as you learn them. I'm not saying don't learn the tune. I am saying don't stress about it, because there are some notes that are more important and other notes that you can let them go for now and catch them later. All right, we do need a second part though. And, an awful lot of this first part has involved little arpeggio intervals, right? Right. So what do we need next? Scales. Yes, very good. Very good. You're getting to be able to understand the character of these tunes. Okay, so our pickup note is still A. And then we're in the key of D, so we're going to start on D note and go up the D scale. Let's add the pickup note. Again. Okay, let me add some little bits to that, because it sounds like people have the general idea there, right? So we just had up the scale. That's our next little bit. Up to that high B note. Okay, next bit. so let's put this bit together. It's 2 bars of the B part. Okay, any guesses at what the next phrase is?
The beginning repeats the beginning of
With that, yeah, start the same way, right? It even goes, but then it ends like this. So the second phrase is scale. Pretty good, right? Okay, let's put our 2 phrases together. We do need a connection, right? When we started out, we have this A pickup note. But we're already on A. So, like, what's a good pickup note between A and D?
C sharp.
How about C sharp? Because then we could do that, right? For the second phrase. So we'll be using a C sharp pickup on the second time. Yeah, that was good. Let's do it again. Same thing. Yes. Okay. The B part of this tune is not 4 bars. It's extended. So can you guess what happens next?
The beginning? The scale?
The same thing. Yes, we repeat the first 2 bars of the B part all over again. So let's now play 6 bars. Okay, any guesses as to what happens next? There's no reason you would guess this because what it does is go in a different direction that we haven't seen before. Right. So unlike the other tune where it's like, oh yeah, let's recycle the ending from the A part. No, we're not doing that. So we just had second phrase, third phrase. So it goes lower, right? Instead of going up. We've spent all this time up high. So the novel thing is actually taking a dive low. So unlike other tunes where they're down here and then you have to surprise them by going high. No, this is the other way around. We've been working high, so we surprise them by going low instead. So after a So let's learn just bit by bit. Some people play that as a C natural. In its source, it's a C sharp. both variations out in the wild. Next bit. Sorry. That's what I meant. And then we're going to jump to the high G and do MOUSE. So our fancy ending with the low notes in it. Sorry, C sharp. Again. Okay, so that's the ending of Miss Rattray. So let's now put it together. Can we do the entire B part?
Sure.
Slowly? Slowly? Yes. Not
Yes.
any faster. Maybe a little slower just to stitch it together. So our pickup note was A, and then we have scale, right? Okay, good. That sounds familiar. Let's do it again. So low. All right. Now we do need to add it to the beginning of the tune. So who remembers that? Yeah, the pickup note was fancy, right? Yes. Is that sounding familiar? Yeah. Okay, good. So we were just about at dancing speed. Just about. But that's a wonderful tune. It does get played fairly often at sessions, and we've never had it in our fiddle club before. With all of our, 2,500 or so tunes that we've had over the years, we've never done this one. Wow. So totally new. Are we ready to learn another one by ear? No. Okay, time to hand around some sheet music. Did people print it out or not?
I did that.
Okay. So if you did print it out, go ahead and get it at this time. They're in little clusters of 4, so make sure you get page 4 and pass it on.
And we have the attendance. Should we do that later?
No, we should go ahead and do that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing the attendance today because Karen, our treasurer, usually does it, but she could not make it today. So sign your name and just indicate that you have. I'll put this is the what month? This is October.
October.
October 2025. Thanks. Sign up sheet.
Here, hand it on.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think Sydney needs one too, so just put one on her chair.
Thank you.
Do we have a
Okay. Just
enough
pass this
sets?
around.
that you already got it?
Oh,
Put-
no.
Cindy needs one on
So
the
put one on the
put
chair
one on her
here.
chair.
The chair here.
Anybody else need one?
Yeah, I need one.
You need one.
You want to sign this?
Okay. Basil, do you already have one? Okay.
So
Does
we still
everybody
don't have one on
else-
Sydney's chair?
Okay. So I'm gonna go print one more. Give me just a moment.
33. Wow, that's
So it does.
interesting.
So I didn't think I got an email from you.
And if you haven't paid your dues, send your dues in. Okay? You can pay a
I
PayPal,
answered to her, but.
I can do this next, right?
or if you want to give me a check to Potomac Valley Scottish Fiddle Club, PV.
Oh,
something,
can we
something,
give you
something.
the dues?
You can pay me the dues, $35. Make it payable to Potomac Valley Scottish Fiddle Club or PVSFC, whatever it is.
PVSFC.
Okay, good. You got it? Do that. $35.
35.
Hasn't changed for a long time. Right? I don't know what else. That's a long time ago.
It wasn't that.
Well,
Look, it's
it's
getting.
all relative. Time is relative.
Attendance. Sign your name.
Yeah, sign your name so I know you come. We'll have an official sheet next time.
So Sydney,
This
she's
is
making a
just-
copy for you.
Oh, wonderful. Should I give this to Steve?
Yeah, I haven't signed it yet. Did I give you sign it?
No.
Can you do me a favor?
Not much, but I do have quite a few words here.
No, actually, that's my folder. Oh, that's your folder. Yeah. Oh, is yours?
See the-
Uh,
Oh, there's one back here.
Yeah, that one, yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
Who still needs a copy of the music?
So I have.
Sylvia.
Sydney.
I do,
Sydney.
just-
Okay. It's impossible to guess how many people are going to need it. Okay, here's a copy. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, so we have 4 pages. Make sure you have book
So
33.
Jincy already got it.
Yeah, that's-
Angela, it just goes to Sandy and.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no.
All right. So we have 8 tunes, and as usual, there's. Oh, do you have to head out?
I do it to the-
Okay. Well, thank you for coming. I'm glad you could come. All right. And you can always tune into this later to hear how the other tunes are played.
Perfect. I will be tuning in.
Right. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Thanks for coming. See you later.
Okay, can you get through?
What's that for?
What's that for?
Oh,
For you?
there's another folding chair, or now there's the other chair. All right. Okay. All set. You got your things. Okay. See you.
There's a chair there.
There's a chair.
Patrick, Patrick, you can take Cindy's chair.
Sorry.
Okay.
And send it back here. No, she's already had it. Just send it back to Basil.
Has everybody had a chance to sign up?
Yes.
People pay, huh?
Okay. And then this is the beginning of our membership year. So if you have not thought of renewing your membership, now is in fact the correct time to do so. And you can do that online pretty easily by going to our website and following the cues under membership. And the other thing you can do is send it to our treasurer, who is Karen Peters. So,
Or you can pay out PayPal.
right.
PayPal, which I'm buying.
Right. If you pay online, it goes through PayPal, and that's quite easy. Or you can always bring cash in person to a meeting, and we'll eventually get it where it needs to go. All right. So looking at the sheet music on page 1, we already learned My Ain Country by ear. So let's go straight to Old Faithful. So Old Faithful has been in Fiddle Club before. It's in an obscure place in the middle of book 1.
Book 1?
Yeah, book 1. Like book 1, page 18 or something like that.
Wow.
And I haven't heard people playing it around here very much. However, I have heard people playing it out and about. For example, this summer I went to the Cape Breton Fiddle Festival, which is one of the many summer festivals in Cape Breton. If you ever get up there in the summer in July or August, look for a festival because there's something every weekend. And anyway, they have a big group thing where anybody can be part of this organization. It's like a fiddle club for Cape Breton fiddling. And you just pop onto the stage and play their favorite sets, and one of them starts with Old Faithful. So people are playing this tune. If you go to a session elsewhere, you might hear this tune as well, because it's one of Jerry Holland's most popular marches. So let me play it for you. It's a very happy tune. Yes. One thing you may have noticed, if you were reading that sheet music carefully, is that I'm playing a lot of dots and flags that are not written into the music. And it's by convention. There are certain ways that you take a tune like this and make it marchy. It's modeled after bagpipe marches. The bagpipers, for reasons a little unfathomable to me, are that they write it in 2/4. It looks the same, except it has horizontal beams everywhere. And you have to read 30-second notes. And I just think that's why complicate things. So it is written in 4/4 here, but it's really, kind of a slow 2. So the convention is if the notes are written straight 8th notes, they are not. So there are things that you can do. I can dot them. But I've heard it more often played with a little bit of a snap. When you have 4 in a row, the most, sort of the go-to rhythm is da-da-da-dum. Da-da-da-dum.
Some of the snaps are written in.
Yes, some are written in. So I just kind of automatically do that da-da-da-dum rhythm. So I tend to put that one in most of the places where it's written straight. All right, so let's just play this. Don't fuss about whether it's dotted or not dotted or snapped or whatever. Just think it's not squared off. All right, so it's not played perfectly square and straight. And instead, it should either be dotted or snapped somewhat. And if it's 4 in a row and you don't know what to do da-da-da-dum. Okay, let's give it a try. Not fast. do you need a music stand? Because I have one sitting right here if you want it. Okay. All right. So that's about the tempo it would go. Yeah. On page 2, we have a Strathspey. Yay. Tolkien Lodge. Tolkien Lodge. So this is one of Scott Skinner's best known Strathspeys. Not the best known, because I would say that both Iron Man and Laird of Drumblare beat it out. And then he's got other famous Strathspeys and other keys. But this is one of Skinner's top 5 is what I would say. So let me play it for you so you hear how it sounds. So I first heard that many, many years ago when I was a college student, and Alistair Fraser came and gave a concert. And it was a small concert just for the Boston Scottish Fiddle Club. And since it had workshop aspects, he allowed us to record. And I took my roommate's recording device, and this, I was so glad that I had recorded this set, because that's how I learned this tune. I didn't know what it was called for a long time, and then eventually I figured out it was by Scott Skinner, and you know, it's in all of Skinner's books, so it's not like it's difficult to find. I just didn't know what it was named because he played it in the middle of a medley. And you know that when people play long medleys, they don't typically tell you, now that was number 1 was this, and number 2 was that, and number 7 was that, number 8 was that. They just, you know, give you a few highlights and then off they go. So let's play Tolkien Lodge. It can be played much slower because it's with all those triplets in it, you can make those very expansive. Or it can be played as a dance tune. I gave you a closer to a dance tempo, which is most of the time when I play this tune, I am using it as a dance tune. But it doesn't have to be a dance tempo. Okay, let's give it a shot. Now, before we play it again, I just want to give you a little word on the runs of triplets, because you get a hint of this in that some of them are written and others are written. What the convention is that they're not played straight, but that the beats are maintained. So see how that was uneven? However, the beat itself, the basic beat of 2 beats per bar, was constant. So they get messed around within the triplets. Some of them are hurried, hence the notation with da-da-da, da-da-da. Some of them are drawn out. It's not really written there, but it would be written dotted flag. Dum ba da dum ba da, and you can mix them up. That's the simple story. I mean, we would have to specifically look, a workshop on Northeast style Strathspeys in order to get the full story. But the basic story is just don't play them, squared off. Again, it's the story of all Scottish music, is that if it's written squared off, you probably are not going to play it squared off. You're going to do something to it. It's got a lilt and an unevenness to it. Not all notes are created equal in a Scottish tune. Some are emphasized more. So let's play this through again, and you can mess around with the triplets. And if you don't play them the same way I'm doing it exactly, that's okay. Just come out the other side at the same place, please. Okay, I hope that one becomes a favorite. It's really a great tune. Yeah. We have had it in Fiddle Club before. It's buried somewhere in the first third of book 7. People don't remember book 7 very well.
Why not?
It's got great tunes in it, but it's been too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to kick some of these back into
You could probably
circulation.
get away with the rest of your career just by recycling stuff.
I might be able to, but then how would I keep learning new tunes?
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's one of the big.
Unless you forgot them from 7 years.
Well, it's not that the tunes I did before are not worth repeating. Many of them are. Right. But there's so many good tunes that why should I stop and just say, oh, I don't need to learn anything new. That's no good. So I'm going to keep learning new tunes. And so therefore our Fiddle Club repertoire will keep expanding. Yeah, we hit 2,000 tunes a few years back now.
Yeah.
We do about 80 tunes a year. So we've got more. There are more where those come from. All right. So the 4th floor, this one, I can't say that I hear it played at sessions all the time, but it's well worth knowing. It's definitely on the list of hotshot tunes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I first heard it, well, I kind of heard it in 2 ways, right? I had students who, I had a whole bunch of teenage students at one time, a number of years ago now. They're all grown up. Anyway, these teenagers all decided to head to the Ohio Scottish Arts School. And at that time, Ed Perlman was directing that, and he had hired Bruce McGregor, who some of you may know his name, right?
Inverness.
Yeah, Blazing and Bewley, the Blazing Fiddles. Yeah. Anyway, he's an awesome fiddler. He's really great. So I was there at Ohio Scottish Arts. Actually, that year I was there as a harp student. I've been there as a fiddle instructor many times, but that was the year that I went as a harp student. So I was incognito. Anyway, Bruce McGregor was one of the fiddle teachers, and all the instructors played, little concert bits. And Bruce McGregor played Maggie's Pancakes and The Fourth Floor.
Wow.
And then, of course, all my teenage fiddle students came home playing these tunes, Maggie's Pancakes and The Fourth Floor. So for a long time, I didn't put The Fourth Floor in because I wanted to make sure I had a good version. There are different versions floating around, and including a session version, which has a different ending. This is from Gordon Duncan's own book. He wrote the tune, so he should know. However, the book was published posthumously, so there is some necessity there to make sure that the version as printed in the book is really, kind of the accepted version. So I went on a listening adventure. I tried to find a video of him playing it, but I couldn't find that. But I did listen to a lot of people playing this one. And what I found was that there are certain elements that get omitted or changed in the session version that are just essential.
Did you listen to Doogie McClain playing it on fiddle?
I didn't listen to Doogie's
I don't know
version.
if there's a recording.
Yeah, I
But
don't know if
because
there's a YouTube version of that. And did he record it?
that's what I'd be looking into. But
Yeah, that's a good question. What I was going with was my memory of how Bruce played it. So I wanted it to sound like that because that was such a striking tune. And then I also compared it with how some really good pipers play it. There's some, I think you have to be a pretty good piper to play this tune like at all. But there are some people playing it on pipes on YouTube that are playing it like, okay, yeah, that's more or less the tune, but you don't quite got the rhythm, And then there was some really precise piping. It's like, wow, that's good piping. And I figured since Gordon Duncan was like one of the best pipers in living memory, that we should go with the really hot piping. And so this is a combination of a really good piping version that I heard and my memory of Bruce McGregor playing it.
it'd be interesting to see what Piper Jones, how he plays it too.
Yeah, there's lots of possibilities, but not all of them are easily found. Right. So let me play it for you. And I have to tell you, I was so busy this week that I didn't get a chance to practice the tune. And I am sure to screw this up. So just with that caveat already. Okay, so don't look too closely at that, but that gives you the general idea. So the things that get changed in session versions is people leave out in the B part, which is essential.
Cool.
Essential. Bruce did that. And it was like one of the things that was the most notable thing about the tune. When it came around and the second time through the tune, it was like, oh, wow, there it is again. The other thing is that the session version has some weird ending where they just do or something like that. And it's like, no, you don't need that. So this is an unusual pipe tune. Gordon Duncan was known for being unconventional. It's got 3 parts. There aren't pipe tunes like this that have 3 parts. They're all either 2-part or 4-part or 6-part tunes. They are not 3-part.
It's the 4th floor, but 3 parts.
Okay, so there is a story behind this. Gordon Duncan was the pipe major of the Vale of Athol pipe band for a number of years. In fact, I saw him unknowing that I was seeing the great Gordon Duncan at the New Hampshire Scottish Games because the Vale of Athol was a featured pipe band one year when I was there. And so at some festival that this pipe band played, the drum major is not the same as the pipe major. The drum major is the one with the, always that fancy hat and a big staff and marches in front. The pipe major is the one actually keeping time for the pipes. So Gordon Duncan was the pipe major. Some other guy's the drum major. So he's carrying the mace, and they use that to conduct, right? It's this giant staff. It's usually very shiny and very decorated. So after the event, his mace went missing. It may have had something to do with the fact that those guys were partying pretty hard after they had played. In any case, eventually the mace was found on the stairs of the hotel where they were staying on the 4th floor landing. Hence the tune, the 4th floor. So, all right, let's play the 4th floor. Let's play it slowly. How does that sound?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, one more thing is that all these burls are interpretations of pipe ornaments. And so on the really accurate piper, they sounded more like just 8th notes. Da 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 dee da da da. However, I remember it
The way Bruce did it
with more burls. But if you lose some of the burls, nobody's going to give you a ticket or anything, Yeah, and I didn't say it was good. Yes, would you all like to do that faster? You're on your own. I told you I wasn't going to teach it by ear, right? Uh-huh. I am. It is a great tune. What a fantastic tune. I mean, it's a show-off tune, but it's one of those show-off tunes where it isn't just, hey, look at me, I'm showing off. It's actually, there's real substance to it. It's like, wow, this is amazing stuff. And if you think about how it comes out on pipes, all those sections where the third section especially, all the burls on A, and that's just like, those are the loud notes, and then occasionally there's like this little pop where the high ones, and they're not evenly spaced.
Right.
So it becomes this extremely complex and exciting rhythmic thing.
That's why it's hard to learn his tunes, because they're very wiggly. Like,
Yeah.
they don't really repeat, the patterns are a little funky.
This is why I went back to the
Yeah.
original piping version rather than going with the session version, because the session versions are designed to show off and play fast, and they miss like how cool it is that this is, sort of like this tricky little thing.
Yeah.
And if it just rushes by, you're just like, okay, that was fast. I'm impressed. It was fast. But if you play it a little slower and you get all that interplay between the high and the low and the droney stuff and the not droney stuff, it's like, oh, wow, there's something much deeper going on here.
He was so brilliant.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm not only encouraging you to play that tune slower, I'm probably going to insist on it. Okay. So on page 4, we have 2 tunes that we have not covered. And so I don't know how many of you went to this, but a little over a year ago, there was a Upper Potomac Fiddle Weekend featuring Cape Breton music. Did anybody go to that?
I might have.
I did.
I think I did too.
I think you did. Yeah. So Wendy McIsaac and Troy McGillivray and Barry Shears were there, and they're all like, wow, you couldn't ask for better Cape Breton instructors. And so I was also on staff, not to play Cape Breton music, but to sort of relate Cape Breton music to other Scottish music, and also to be a bit of a liaison between pipes and fiddle, since that is something that I've done on many occasions. So there was this discussion. Okay, what is everybody going to play when we, instructors all play together? And so it had to be fiddle tunes that were pipeable, or pipe tunes that you could play on the fiddle that still came across. So anyway, the one that Barry and Wendy and Troy all came up with is like, oh, let's play Scottsville. I'd never played Scottsville. I'd heard it. I heard this tune before, but I was not in my repertoire. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna look this up. Anyway, so it comes from a variety of sources. For one thing, I have sourced it from the Cape Breton Fiddlers Association, which I just told you about. They have this festival once a year in August, and people from all over who play Cape Breton fiddle music gather and do a big performance together. They do not have hired special performers, but they all come. So one year, Ashley McIsaac played. Kyle McNeil frequently plays. Brenda Stubbert plays.
You always think that she's passed because there's a tune written about her, and we've been playing it for so many years that you always.
She was young when that tune was written. And it was written by Jerry Holland, who was her age. So yeah, Brenda's alive and well. I saw her this August.
That's what I'm just.
Yes. She's still writing new tunes too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So anyway, this tune is also found in one of the first collections that was put together specifically of Cape Breton tunes. And it's called the Macquarie Collection. It's out of print. It's been out of print like since the 80s. but it's a source of a whole lot of tunes. So that's where the Scottsville Reel is published. And so let me play it for you. It is a pipe tune, as you might suspect, since Barry Shears was one of the people who said, hey, let's play it. And he's a piper. And that's the tune. So it's 4 parts. It's very pipey. In fact, the best time to play it is when you play along with pipes. But it also can be made to sound really awesome as a dance tune. It's one that's not so much melodic as rhythmic. So play it with some precision and also some distinction. So it's not just, that kind of stuff. You get that kind of stuff is what makes this tune comes alive. So let's play it slowly and get acquainted with the Scottsville Reel. And if you go to Cape Breton, there's a really good chance you'd hear this at one of their Cape Breton square dances.